I happen to like America, don't you? A lot of people probably think we got a good thing going here because they're all trying to get in. Nobody's trying to get out. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have a wicked little plan to invade your country and my country and invite aliens to waltz in and participate, to vote, to get driver's licenses, to get free education, free health care, housing, welfare, earned income credit, legal advice, legal representation. Somebody has told them how to step across the border and approach the Border Patrol and demand asylum. And this is so that the Democrats, which have been taken over by the worldwide Marxist conspiracy, is trying to destroy the United States. I don't happen to like this. Maybe you're not bothered by it, but I am. And the reasoning is that these Latinos are descendants from the original Native Americans, and therefore we are trespassing on their native territory. This is not true. I will include a link somewhere or the other. I'll give you a link to get to a video put out by Nova, which demolishes the so-called Clovis first theory. It's a theory that Siberians came over after the year about 13,000 years ago when a pathway opened up through the glacial ice covering um, Canada and Alaska, allowing these people to get through. So as soon as we found archaeological sites with pre-Clovis artifacts, the people who are pushing this theory then changed their tune and said, okay, uh, they couldn't have walked across because uh, Canada was covered by glaciers with big ravines and cracks that you can't walk across, and there'd be no animals there because there's nothing there but ice. So there'd be no plants growing there. There's nothing there but ice. There's nothing to eat for human beings to travel a couple of thousand miles across ice, thick ice. There'd be no animals and plants. You couldn't get across it anyway. It's just full of deep ravines and cracks. You can't cross it, and there wouldn't be anything there to eat even if you could cross it. So they theorized, well, they came along the shoreline in boats. All right. They admit that it's possible to enter North America along the shoreline in a boat. Well, it is possible also that Europeans could have entered North America along the shoreline from a boat. If you were traveling a couple of thousand miles in a boat, either from Siberia or Europe during the Ice Age, you could have easily subsisted on seal. You spear them when they come up to a breathing hole. You'd have plenty of food. If you were not able to walk across on the ice hunting seal, you could go across in a boat, even though the weather's cold. Of course, you want to do this in summer, and you'd have to move pretty fast to get across during the warm months of the year. But something wiped out the original Native Americans. We know that the megafauna went extinct at approximately 13,800 years ago. And apparently it put quite a dent in the human population as well in North America. And I theorized that a meteor hit the ice sheet, which covered Canada and the northern half of the United States. A meteor hit the ice sheet over the Great Lakes, specifically over Lake Huron. Of course, it would not have left a crater because the ice was probably a mile thick, possibly more than a mile thick over the Great Lakes. The Great Lakes are 1,000 feet deep, and there was 5,000 feet of ice built up on the Great Lakes during the last glacial maximum, which was 20,000 years ago. The meteor would have hit the Great Lakes region 12,800 years ago, leaving evidence behind in the form of the so-called Carolina bays, which are not bays, and they're not only in Carolina, but they are elliptical depressions, shallow depressions along the Atlantic coast, and they're also found in Nebraska. And they're all aligned in such a way as they're aligned toward Saginaw Bay of Lake Huron, right in the middle of the Great Lakes. The evidence is not found in the form of a crater like most meteor impacts, but the evidence is found simply by the platinum anomaly. You find platinum dust in the Clovis layer of several archaeological sites in North America, platinum dust at the same strata as you find the end of the Clovis culture. And all this is to point out to Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer that the Johnny come latelys from Siberia have no claim of ownership to North America. They have no right to waltz across the borders of a sovereign country to accept goodies by the Democrat Party, which has been taken over by the Marxist organization, worldwide Marxist organization. If we allow these people in by the millions, a Republican will never, ever, ever, ever get elected president into the United States again. And that's the point of all this. This is not just about science. This is about our survival as a nation. Thanks for watching.